Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, we're looking at some of our most popular impact weapons on KarateMart.com. But before we begin, if you could just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So last week, I showed you guys some of our most unique weapons on the KarateMart.com website. And then I asked you to go to the community tab and vote for which one you liked best. And there were some really cool weapons too, but you guys went to the community tab and voted for the ringed sax knife. I absolutely love this knife. I think it's so cool. I love the fact that it's got this kind of modern take on a Viking sax knife to where it has this ring on the pommel. So very cool. Makes it nice for forward grip and for reverse grip. I love this thing. But this week, I asked Amanda to go back to the warehouse and choose some of our most popular impact weapons. So after this video is over, make sure you guys go to the community tab and vote for which one you liked best. But without further ado, Amanda, what is our very first impact weapon?
There you go.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's see what this is. Oh, cool. Okay, I love this. This is awesome. All right, so our very first impact weapon is the black Kusari-Fundo. Awesome, awesome. I love these things. I think these are so cool. So actually, we did a video on this probably about 2 years ago. So I'm just gonna show you a little bit of that so you can see how to use this thing. So a Minriki chain is basically just a chain that has these two fundos at the end, or weights. And what's great about them is that they're small enough to fit in your pocket, but you can also strike with them, and you can use them to swing at someone who's attacking you. But there's something that's really important that you have to keep in mind if you're going to use a weapon like this. And we're just going to go out here because there's a little more space. If you're going to use a Kusari-Fundo like this, it's very important that you don't strike in a way that you're going to lose your energy. As you're striking with it, you have to be able to keep your energy going. A lot of people will do it wrong, and they'll strike with it just to try to hit their opponent, but they won't keep in mind the fact that the Kusari-Fundo is going to go in a direction on its own. So if they miss their opponent, the Fundo is just going to hit them, or it's going to stop, and it's going to lose all the energy that you have. So if you're going to use it, you strike and you bring it in a direction to where you can keep the energy flowing so that you can continue to strike with it. They're also a great weapon for trapping or for choking. They're really just an excellent weapon all around, but it's one of those weapons that you do need to learn how to use properly if this is going to be your weapon of choice. So what you could see from that video is that these are actually a very effective weapon if they're used properly. And these were actually used back in feudal Japan, so a very old school weapon that is actually super effective. Now the total length of this is approximately 32.5 inches, and the total weight is approximately 11.8 ounces. And it's made out of stainless steel with this black finish to it. So I can't tell you how much I love this weapon. I think it's so awesome. But again, it's one of those weapons you have to really learn how to use in order to use it effectively. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next impact weapon. All right, Amanda, what is our next weapon?
There you go.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, and our next impact weapon is the tactical slapjack. Awesome, awesome. I love slapjacks. Very cool. Also a very misunderstood weapon, so I'm glad we're showing this off. So this is the tactical slapjack. A little different from the other slapjacks that we carry. The other slapjacks we carry are actually made out of leather, and they have a lead weight on the inside, where this is actually made out of a thermoplastic rubber. It doesn't have a weight on the inside, but it's such heavy rubber that that actually feels really effective. So I like that a lot. The rubber on this actually feels like the type of rubber you'd see on a tire or something. So, oh yeah. Oh man, yeah, that would definitely hurt really bad. But this again is one of those weapons you really have to learn how to use if you're even thinking about carrying something like this. So this specific weapon I'd probably carry in either my back pocket or in my side pocket. And if I needed it, I'd pull it out, I'd strike to the chin, and then I'd rake the face, which would expose the mandibular angle on the side underneath their ear. And if you strike that area right below the ear, you can fracture their jaw and cause a lot of injury. You could also hit to the temple, or you could hit to the back of the skull. This is actually a really good weapon, but you have to learn how to use it effectively. So one thing I really like about this is that it has this really nice ergonomic non-slip grip to it. And then it weighs approximately 6.5 ounces, which feels really comfortable. That's not so heavy that it's going to be uncomfortable to carry. It also is heavy enough that it can actually give you a lot of momentum in your swing. The length is approximately 10 inches, and it has this genuine leather wrist strap to it. So I actually like that a lot. I think it's pretty cool. But this is definitely one of those weapons that you need to check your local laws on, because there's a lot of really strict laws when it comes to slapjacks. So definitely check your local laws just to make sure that it's okay to carry something like this. So I think that's all I have to really say about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what is our next weapon?
There you go.
Thank you. All right, let's see what this is. Oh, cool. All right, so 2 items. So our next weapon is the solid brass knuckle dusters and the black leather knuckle holster. Very nice. I like that a lot. That's very cool. I'm guessing the reason you grabbed this, Amanda, is to show off this black leather knuckle holster. Very unique. I love the look of that. So cool. So first off, the black leather knuckle holster is made out of a genuine black leather. I love the look of it. I think it looks so heavy duty, so nice. You just put it on your belt on the side, but that actually brings a good point. The laws with knuckle dusters are very strict, and then there's different laws as far as what can be shipped to an area, what can be owned, and what can be carried. So it's very important that you check your local laws just to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. But also, we've got this really nice black leather belt loop on there, and this actually fits most standard knuckle dusters. So I actually like that a lot. Probably wouldn't fit the ones that are spiked or the ones that are like 2-finger knuckle dusters, but it definitely fits most of the common size knuckle dusters. And this thing weighs only about 2 ounces, so that's a pretty good weight on this thing. And we can see that it's got this really nice snapping fastener on here, so that's gonna secure your knuckle duster in place really nicely. And you can see that the little finger holes have these little divots in here, so that's actually holding that in very securely, so really cool. And then the knuckle dusters themselves are called the solid brass knuckle dusters, and these are definitely some of our most popular knuckle dusters because they're kind of the more traditional style of knuckle dusters that we sell. These are actually made in America, which is really nice. Made out of solid brass, and then they've got this really nice vented palm grip on there, which takes a lot of weight off of them. So they only weigh about 7 ounces, which is a really good weight for knuckle dusters. It's not too light, so you're going to get some good momentum on your swing, but it's not so heavy that it's uncomfortable to carry. So I actually like these a lot. They feel really comfortable in my hand. The amount of distance between each finger is really comfortable. They've got about a 1-inch diameter for the finger diameter. So for me, I've got very large hands and it fits very comfortably. If you've got extremely large hands though, just be aware that it might be a little tight, especially on this index finger up here. But for me, I think it feels great. So when it comes to knuckle dusters, I always like to discuss which way to hold them. So there's a couple of popular ways to hold a knuckle duster. A lot of people like to hold them like this and just strike in a punching fashion. Some people like to hold them a little bit higher up on their knuckles and actually swipe with them. So what I like to say is when you order a pair of knuckle dusters, it's important to test out both different ways, because if you use them incorrectly, you can actually break your fingers, you can break your wrist. So you want to try them both different ways. So I'm actually going to test it both different ways and just see which one feels better. So for me, let's first start with using them in a striking fashion on the Wing Chun dummy. So that actually feels pretty comfortable. It doesn't really hurt me too bad because that palm grip is so wide that it absorbs a lot of the shock into my palm. But I want to actually hold it up a little bit higher on my knuckle and try striking like that. Let's see how that works. So for me, that actually felt about the same striking it both ways. But honestly, I've got a tough angle here to actually strike with. So when you get your own, just definitely try them out on something soft like a punching bag and just make sure you test a little bit so that you don't hurt your hand when using them. So the length of these is approximately 4.5 inches, the width is about 2.5 inches, and the thickness is about 7/16 inch. So that's a pretty thick knuckle duster. I actually like these a lot. I think they're really, really nice, but there's really not a lot else for me to say about them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, what is our next weapon?
There you go.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, let's see what this is. Oh, cool. All right, so our next weapon is the Expandable Polycarbonate Baton. This is awesome. I'm actually really glad you grabbed this one because a lot of people ask about these. A lot of people first off ask, why would you want an expandable polycarbonate baton? Well, that's a really good question in itself. So first off, when we look at this, we can see that this section is polycarbonate, this section is polycarbonate, and then this section and the tip are actually made out of steel. So if you're thinking about buying one of these to get through a metal detector or something, don't even think about it because it's not going to work. The reason why this section and this section are polycarbonate is to reduce the weight of this item a little bit. This actually only weighs about 9 ounces, so that's a lot lighter than a standard telescoping baton. And then I love the fact that it's got this nice rubberized grip down there, so it's super comfortable. But my concern with these things is always that how strong is this going to be? Is this actually going to work in a self-defense situation? I mean, I want to actually test out this section of polycarbonate to see if it can actually absorb the impact. So Amanda, I've actually got a pineapple over there. Could you go ahead and grab that for me really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's actually try striking this pineapple with it first just to see if it can actually take that impact. So I'm just going to strike right here. Oh yeah, that just cut through it like nothing. The baton's still in really good shape, so I like that a lot. So it can absorb that kind of impact, but let's try something a little bit tougher, like this Wing Chun dummy here. I'm actually going to strike it right here on this baton area. Yeah, I mean, that held up pretty nicely. Couple good swings, held up pretty nicely. Let's try closing it. Oh yeah, that's not bad. I don't think this is going to be as strong as like a steel baton, but that held up just fine. Considering how light it is, I actually like that a lot. So the open length of this item is approximately 21.5 inches. The length closed is approximately 9 inches, and it includes this really nice heavy-duty nylon sheath. So I actually like that a lot. Yeah, very cool. And it's got a little area here to hook onto your belt. So yeah, fits in there very nicely. I don't think there's anything else to really say about this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and let's move on to our next weapon. All right, Amanda, now that we got all that pineapple cleaned up, what is our last weapon of the day?
There you go.
Awesome, thank you. All right, I'm actually enjoying this today. I like doing themes like this. So impact weapons, it's a lot of fun. All right, and our last weapon is the Punisher Stun Baton. Awesome, awesome. Okay, oh geez, this is a big one too. We did another stun baton that was kind of similar to this. Didn't we? Do you remember what that was called?
It was called this tactical stun baton.
Oh, the tactical stun baton. Yeah, I did that in one of our first stun baton videos. So this is a little bit different though. I think this is a little newer model. So first off, I noticed that this is made out of that really heavy duty military grade aluminum. So that's awesome. I love the fact that if the stun feature isn't enough to take down your attacker, you still have an additional weapon at your disposal. You can still strike with it because this is a heavy duty aluminum. So that's going to hold up really nicely. Another thing I like about this is it is expandable. You can actually bring it out to 19.25 inches, or if you want it a little more compact, you can bring it down to 16.75 inches. So that's kind of a unique little feature of this. So if we look, we can see that it has this really nice heavy-duty nylon holster to it. And I like these small, compact little holsters that just kind of hook onto your belt like that. I actually like those a lot better than the really long nylon holsters because these type you can actually pull out your weapon really quick and easily. So that's pretty nice. So let's take off that holster. So we can see that it has a really nice rubberized grip to it, and that's really comfortable. That's actually going to absorb some of the shock if you did have to strike with this thing, so that's pretty nice. It only weighs about 1 pound, 2 ounces, so that is a really good weight. That actually gives it enough heft that you could strike with it and get some momentum, but it's not so heavy that it's going to be uncomfortable to carry. So let's look at how this thing actually works. So first off, we've got this little safety button in back. So if we turn that on, it turns the whole unit on. So we can see that the green light went on up there showing that the safety is actually off. So right now, it's not going to do anything. If we hit this button right here, that actually turns on the LED light on the top. And the LED light actually has 3 different light modes. So we can see that it's got the bright light, we've got the dull light, and then we've got a strobe light. So that's pretty nice. And then if we hit this button again one more time, then you can see that the red light went on here, which means that it's actually ready to stun. So I'm actually going to hit that button. Oh wow, that's really loud. That's a little scary. So when I tell people what to look for in a stun baton, I always say that one of the most important things is to actually listen to how loud the crackle is, because that'll tell you a lot about the strength of the stun baton. So the manufacturer actually doesn't state how strong the stun baton is, which is something I really respect, because if you look at a lot of stun batons, they'll say things like 100 million volts or 200 million volts, and that number is so deceiving because the manufacturers will just throw a random number onto the box to make their stun baton look like it's stronger than other stun batons. So the fact that this manufacturer doesn't do that makes me feel a lot more comfortable with this stun baton. So I actually like that a lot. If we look, we can see that there's a really nice wrist strap on there. So I actually like that because that might help to keep someone from grabbing your stun baton from you and actually using it against you. So that's pretty cool. And then it's got a rechargeable battery in it. So all we have to do is just plug it in to charge it up if we ever need to. So I actually like that a lot about it. But we actually need to test this out to actually see how strong it is, which is the reason I hate when Amanda brings these to me, because that means I actually have to get shocked by it. So I'm a little bit nervous because this one is really strong, you can tell. Oh yeah, it's gonna be very painful. So I'm just gonna have Amanda shock me in the arm with this thing just to make sure that it is an effective weapon. So Amanda, all right, hit me in the left arm.
Hey guys.
All right, here we go. Ow, jeez! Ow! That one hurt really bad.
Your arm's already getting all red.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. That was oh man. Yeah, that one definitely a strong and effective stun baton. She only did it for a fraction of a second, and my arm is still shaking from that, and it's still red. You can see there's red marks on it. So if you were gonna actually use this thing, if someone was attacking you, you'd probably do it for a couple of seconds. I can imagine that would be a very effective weapon. And again, if the stun doesn't work on it, you still have a baton available to you. But one thing I also like to mention is stun batons sometimes might not work when it comes to someone on drugs like crystal meth or something. So it is very important that you learn other self-defense techniques just in case this isn't effective for you. But I'm actually hurting a little bit right now, so I'm going to go ahead and put this away. So make sure you guys go to the community tab and vote for which weapon you like best this week. But if you have any questions on this or any of the other items I showed off in this video, definitely leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. And check out KarateMart.com because we got all sorts of really cool weapons on there right now. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.